I've been a bit busy. The Grenadier is now turned into a beast. Have a look at it. It's now almost ready for its maiden voyage.
In this video, all the changes and additions so far.
That's just one side.
How it all went together, what was easy, what was difficult.
Still got heaps to do.
And will I have it all done in time for the trip?
Adding mods and making changes to this particular vehicle was a very different experience compared to any other car I've worked on before. Some things were just so easy. Being a heavy vehicle, but also being a very capable vehicle, I didn't want to lift it too high off the ground. I want to keep the center of gravity quite low. By doing so, I've only lifted it by 40 mil.
Lifting this Grenadier by 40 mil was super easy. It only required new coil springs. These were supplied by Ibach Springs. Ibach? I hope I said that right. Ibach. The other reason for sticking with 40 mil, we didn't need to change the shock absorbers, just the springs.
With the tyres and the rims, this is a factory Ineos steel wheel. It's a 17-inch. Before, they were 18-inch alloys. Offset on the 18-inch alloys was so positive. I mean, this is quite a positive offset as well. I was scuffing them up pretty badly. And you can imagine this lip here would be in line there. Now this is a wider tyre, which is offering more protection and also mud terrain with having the bigger lugs on it. I also mentioned at the start, not likely, I will change them straight away. 17-inch wheels and mud tyres. I don't like alloys, so we've ditched them. The tyres it had on before, well, the overall size was about 32-inch. This is a 34 and a little bit bigger than a 34-inch tyre. 305 70 R17. Max's Razor mud terrain.
Considering all we had to do was lift it by 40 mil with some springs, very little effort was required to fit these tyres. So why 34-inch and not 35s?
It just fits. Since putting the bigger tyres on and getting that 40 millimeters of lift, the steering is slightly heavier, and being mud tyres, when you slow down like I just did there, and you just feel that little vibration when you're taking off, you can feel a bit of a vibration. That is a mud tyre thing that I'm used to, but it feels different in every single vehicle. The steering now, I find I have to do slightly minor corrections, but for someone who's used to constantly correcting a 70 series, it's nothing compared to that, so it's just a minor thing. Before, I didn't have to correct the steering at all, and that's what happens when you put bigger tyres on. The real test is to come. 2,000 kilometres on the highway and about 500, 600 k's off-road. In case you didn't notice, there's hoops on the roo bar now, or bull bar, whatever you want to call it. The cool thing about this vehicle coming out with a steel bar already, I just want to remind you, it's a factory bar. These are factory hoops. All I had to do was add it to the bar itself. That is a massive bonus.
On top of that, because it has a winch already and it's all factory wired,
That's the power,
pre-switched,
that's the winch, and that's the winch controller.
and ready to use.
That is a massive bonus for this vehicle. There is one downfall though. Because they've kept that really good approach angle, this winch rope is only 15 meters long. You would definitely need an extension rope. Even with an extension rope, you'd still have to reset the winch every 12 meters or so, because you still need some rolls on the drum. So although it's 15 meters, you've only really got like 12, 13 meters usable. And I must say, now it looks like a proper spec'd Aussie 4x4. I wasn't sold on the look of this car at the beginning, but with a bar on it, I really like it with the bar. I've always wanted to put a 3/4 rack on a vehicle. This weighs just over 30 kilos, so I didn't want to put too much weight on the roof, and I didn't want to cover those windows. I reckon this looks awesome. Ineos do offer a full length rack, but it weighs nearly 60 kilos. That rack weighs 30 kilos. With the gutters being so big on this Grenadier, it was so easy to install and mount this roof rack. Speaking of easy, the easiest part, or the easiest lights I've ever installed to the roof of a vehicle is this vehicle. Because of those outlets on the roof, 25 amps on the front, 2 of them and 2 on the back. Wiring them in was easier than mounting the lights themselves. It was seriously that easy. 2 forward-facing 20-inch light bars and 1 rear-facing 10-inch just to kind of light up camp or light up when we're reversing and stuff in the bush. Although I did say it was very easy to get power up there because it's pre-switched and everything, I haven't quite figured out how to run the relay in there so I can have it on a high beam trigger switch. I'm sure there's an easy way of doing it, I just haven't figured that out yet. So at the moment, these are bush lights only. With the UHF radio, I went a portable option. I don't want to be drilling holes into this vehicle. It's not my car. So when I press, that is the best spot that I can find in this vehicle to put it without drilling any holes or anything like that.
These covers for the top windows I found at Expedition HQ.
It's also there to stop the light bars from shining in through the top window.
And that's not the only cool thing I found there. Wait until you see this.
This is called the Pantry. Acts as a table. This is a jerry can, 20 litres. Water or fuel, that's just one side. Check out this.
I fixed the fuel capacity.
That's 30 litres right there. Not only that, it mounts over the fuel. A pump came with this, pump from there, straight into the tank. Providing I put diesel in this tank as well, that's an extra 50 litres on top of the 90. I now have a 140 litre capacity of diesel. It beats the heck out of pulling the vehicle apart underneath and then installing an auxiliary tank, which I believe is about 58 or 68 litres. This you can remove anytime you like, and you can put it on. You can configure it to anything you like as well. This I could change to water. The other side only needs to be there on a big trip. Any other outing I do with this vehicle, I wouldn't need that fuel tank over there. I could in fact put something else there. But if you don't want any of this stuff in your car, take it off. The last thing I need to do now is to fit out the rear of the Grenadier. We've still much to do to get this vehicle ready for the trip. There's honestly a lot still to cover. But what I will say as a quick summary, for a vehicle that's built in Europe, you'd expect it to be very difficult to work with. But it's just so easy. Compare that to a 200 or a Nissan Patrol or even like a Hilux, which I've highly modified one of those before. Doing any wiring on that is an absolute nightmare. It's a pain. Switches, relays, wiring, dual battery system. It's a freaking nightmare. This vehicle, the Ineos Grenadier, holy moly. It's been the most easiest vehicle to modify to date. Everything on it. And just to highlight the best parts, 40mm lift to fit nearly 35-inch tyres. The only reason why we didn't go to 35 is because you can't open the back door. To lift it 40mm just with a pair of coils, dual battery system's already in there, winch is already powered up and ready to go, power to the roof is already there. That's probably the most difficult part actually for anyone modifying a car, is to wire things on the roof. When you're watching this, I would have just come back from the test run. Let's see how it went. Still got heaps to do.